The slightest change in your being moves mountains and projects yourself as a giant in the world of events. You see, my discovery, and this is why I am not so much popular in many countries, not in yours, but in many countries, it is difficult to accept a principle like this, that you yourself are the main responsible for all and everything that happens in the world. From my point of view, and from what it has been my realization and discovery, the world is just a reflection of what you are. And then all the problems and difficulties we are living in this historical time, but in all ages, in all epochs, we really believe to be victims of a world which is aggressive, violent, where diseases can destroy humanity, where a third world war can happen in a few days, and we forget that all this is just imagination coming from you yourself. There is no violence in the world. There is no war, no conflict, but just in yourself. The world is as it is because you are as you are, not vice versa. The world is such because you are such, and not vice versa. If you believe in a separate reality, that you and the world are two separated realities, you lose your status as a creator, as a dreamer. And you become a victim of a world that you yourself are projecting. It sounds paradoxical, I know this. That's why it will be difficult for each of you to understand what I mean. You yourself are the very creator and dreamer and doer of whatever is happening in the world. And we have been taught that the world is the world of causes, the external world is the world of causes, and we are just the effects. We are the result of a world which is aggressive, violent, and corrupted. And I turned this paradigm upside down, and I realized that you yourself are the very cause of whatever is happening in the world. And the world is just a victim. The world is just a reflection. It's obeying to whatever is happening within you. Now, to arrive to a humanity that will be constituted of individuals and not of masses. Probably it will take a few decades. I realized that the individual is the very cause of whatever you see and touch. hear and feel. And the world is just waiting for you to become in time what you really are. Now, you see that we see the multitude, we see the others as a separate reality, just because we invented something that divided us from the world, or you yourself from the world. And that is the time factor. Now, time is just a paint that you cover the invisible part of yourself, the invisibility, to make it visible. I discovered that we are invisible beings. And each of us is creating the world as he is, as she is. And we cannot change the events and the circumstances and the experiences in the external world if we do not transform ourselves, if you do not change yourself. Sorry, the words, words are in time, and it's very easy to be to contradict, what I'm saying. Words are not able to express, this unity, this integrity. Then sometimes for your comprehensions, I have to use we, you in general, but I am talking to you yourself, mainly. I am talking to you in your room, in your house, and not to the crowd. Then please try to understand that we are in a very private, intimate relationship. If I should talk to, we have thousands of people in this moment, I would be really in a difficult issue, because it's impossible to transfer, the individual concept to masses. Masses cannot be creative, cannot create, cannot understand, and only the individual can create, dream, love. I discovered that the invisibility in the individual, they have the same root, is not separated from the outer reality. It is just one. Vision and reality are one and the same. Inner states and the outer events are one and the same. Inner and outer are one and the same. Action and contemplation, ethics and economics, financial power and law are one and the same. I discovered that law means this is the blending blending between Greek and Latin, means absence of death. Absence of the absence, mors, morte, death. Then I love you means we are in absence of death. That's why for me, deathlessness, timelessness has become a law, a principle. And only in absence of death, you can create a perfect world. Someone asked me if we can be physically immortal. Yes, I'm sure that in a few decades, we can become immortal. But it will be always a sort of device. It's not the real immortality. Immortality can happen only within you yourself. And I call it deathlessness, absence of death. Absence of death should be adopted by everybody. We should stop dying within. We should stop dying within our being. We die thousands and thousands of times during a day. If we die lesser and lesser and lesser, you will see that we can achieve what they call physical immortality. You understand that you cannot be immortal today, because to be eternal with all the problems, difficulties, and with all the projections of disasters and misfortunes that you produce within yourself, it would be very, very painful to be eternal. Only when we defeat death within ourselves, probably something can happen scientifically outside ourselves. But by now, for now, we have to just fight death within ourselves. How can we do this? Fearlessness, doubtlessness, to stop worry and anxieties. They are all little deaths within ourselves, and we are not aware of it. Then we die thousands of times every day without knowing that we are building our physical death day by day, year by year. Then turn towards yourself and observe what is going on within yourself. What is happening within your being. And you will realize that you yourself are the very cause of all the violence, disasters, wars, conflicts, poverty in the outer world, and death. This is not an accusation, because the way you are creating disasters and poverty, you can do also you can also turn upside down this so-called reality and create truth, goodness, beauty, peace. But this is for a humanity that has to go through many, many battles. And they are all within. There is no battle outside yourself. The outer world, the external world is just a consequence of what you are. And you see the slightest change in your being can move mountains in the world of events. But we do not know how to change that slight thing within. We really believe that the world is as it is, and we cannot do anything to change it. Turn towards yourself and observe. Just observe what is going on within. And you will find the answer to all and everything. You will find the solution and the healing to all and everything. This is the theme of today. Inner economy. The answer and solution to all and everything. This is my story. And I hope that you can understand. The people who write to me every day, they are really changing their lives. And it's interesting to understand that just by observing yourself, miracles happen. In your family, in your organizations, in the world, generally in the world. And by observing yourself. Through self-observation, you will be mastering yourself. You will be in absence of negative emotions and destructive thoughts. And when you get free of all those things, unnecessary things, you will see that the world will change totally. Then you yourself are the main cause of whatever is happening out there. And remember, anything happening in the outer world has to have your inner consent to happen. Whatever is happening out there has to have your inner approval to happen. Then you see how powerful you are. In stillness, silently and secretly, victory will reveal. In stillness, observing yourself when problems come, when violence comes from the world, you have to turn towards yourself and see that all is coming from you yourself, from within. And if you just observe that violence within yourself, that death within yourself, in few seconds, you will get free of it. And all answers, solutions will come from outside. you will realize one day that even death is only your imagination. You cannot die. It's impossible. But right now, you invented death to have a way out from all sufferings, pains, and sorrows. Then you have, first of all, to heal from all sorrows, from all suffering. And then you will see that some technique, some technology will come from the outer world. Like we had the telephone and internet and the aeroplane and the bulbs, electricity, and all those things. Physical immortality will come only when you are ready. Ready, it means to be timeless, fearless, deathless. Okay, there is some question.
I have a question.
Oh, Moses.
How do we become fearless? I mean, there are so many reasons to be afraid of.
Yeah. Yes. You know, you cannot become something that, or someone who you already are. You are fearless already. Then something happened that you forgot to be timeless, fearless, and deathless. Now you have to realize that fear is just a cover. It is something that we caught from outside, we got from outside, believing that it is something that is natural. And it is not. Not even death is unnatural. Fear, death, time, are just invention. You invented, you yourself invented time, fear, death, just to justify your forgetfulness. Now you have to remember. Just to remember, you have to turn towards yourself, forget about the world. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't go on with your business, with your relationships, and etc. You have to forget about the world as something that is the cause of whatever is happening to you. And you have to turn towards yourself and see that you yourself are the source and the cause of all and everything. This is just a revolution. If you believe that the world out there is a separate reality, then you are lost. Then all our life is just external. We, 24 hours a day, we identified with the external. Business, money, people, problems, attacks, disease, poverty, and the government, and etc., politics and economics, etc. I turned this paradigm upside down, and I dedicated all my time to myself. And I discovered that fear is artificial. Death is artificial. Time is just your inventions, just to make visible what it is invisible to you. Then the world comes as a mirror to tell you what you do not want to see and touch and hear and feel within yourself. And you believe that the world is aggressive and violent, but it is not. It is your own projections that are reflecting in the world. And like Narcissus, you remember Narcissus, he dies in his image. And this is, we die in the world, believing that the world is violent, is attacking us, is giving us illnesses, poverty, sometimes problems, misfortunes, but it is not so. We project our own violence, and the world is just reflecting it. And we die identifying with the external world, which is only denouncing what is happening within yourself. I don't know if it is clear. It is, with the words, it's not so easy to tell you that you yourself are projecting the world as it is. And the reflection, your image in the world, makes you believe that the world is all that you are projecting, but it is not. The world is just reflecting. Then you see in the world, many are following the law of attraction. And that is another lie that happened to humanity. You are projecting yourself. The world is just a mirror. And it's telling you all the truth. Nothing but the truth about yourself. And you do not want to listen. You do not want to see and touch what the world is telling you every instant of your life. Is it clear, Moses?
It is clear. Well, however, how do you change your projection? I mean, I understand that it is a projection, it is a mirror, but it's not that I don't want to change what I am and what I see. The problem is, how do I do that? How, beside observation, because observation, I mean, for example, I have a work that is overpressing, I don't have time, and I have so many things. I don't know how easy it is to just observe.
Yeah, right. Very good, very good. You have to practice. You have to practice it in a sense that you are observing yourself, and it should be permanent observation. And at the same time, you have to act as an actor in life. And this is very, very difficult because we identify with all and everything that is happening in the world, believing that there are many forces coming from all over, and you cannot do anything. You cannot deal with all those things. But it is not so. Whatever is happening in the world is coming from you yourself. If you get used to watching yourself, to observe yourself, you will see that the world will follow. And all those attacks, and as you said, all your businesses, all your relationships are very pressing and are very, they need you all the time to resolve and to find solutions and the way out. But it is not so. If you dedicate more time to yourself, you will see that all the problems and troubles and difficulties outside yourself will disappear. And solutions and healings will come from outside. It's difficult to accept this because you know we were taught at school, at the universities, and our parents and the environment that the world is a separate reality. It's something that you cannot change because there are so many forces, many people and philosophies and theories in the world that how can you deal with all that stuff, with all that giant, you know, representation. And yet, I tell you, if you turn towards yourself and you perpetuate your self-observation, you will see that the world is a very little thing to deal with. Very easy, very easy. But we do not want to do that because I tell you, we are so much in love with our sufferings, with our, you know, pains and sorrows, that we do not want to abandon it. If suffering, if someone could eliminate all the sufferings that you feel during a daytime, it would be much more painful than pain itself. We are very used to that. And we do not want to abandon any moment of suffering because we think that that is life, and it is not. That is death. Then observe yourself and see how many times you die during the day. And if you die lesser and lesser, you will see that the world, you yourself, your family, and the world in its totality will improve exponentially. Thank you, Moses. Thank you.
I love you, Elio.
Thank you. That's nice.
Hello, Elio. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. What's your name?
It's me, Theodore from Athens, Greece. It was a pleasure last time to hear from you about the antagonist that we have in ourselves. It was truly inspiring, smoothing myself and my day. It changed a lot to me. That was something I came to follow you today. Something to share with you. I try to be a paradigm to my children, to my life, to my co-workers about what you said and a lot of things that you try to come to our essence. But I feel the educational system, school, has a different perspective to a lot of things, a lot of obstacles. And is there any way, except ourselves, through this struggle for our kids, for the society that's coming after us, how we can handle, how we can aspire some things, some tips for help? That's a general question, if this helps.
To help the others or to help yourself?
to help the others, and most especially small children, the children that I came through COVID, through this quarantine, with no play with others, with no interaction, with a lot of things that didn't have in our life as childs we were born and raised.
Why do you worry about your children, about your colleagues or partners?
You mentioned also the previous time, the other is going to find their way. But I feel a pressure, I cannot, my camera is not working. I feel a pressure from the environment that I'm living about the future of
your children,
that's right. That's right.
Your job. Then my my way is to not worry about the others. Never worry about the others. It's not true that the others will get their way, they have their ways. No, the others depend upon you yourself. Is it clear this? The entire world you are living in depends upon yourself. Then if you want to protect, help your family, help your organizations, and the entire world, you have to turn toward yourself and be responsible. Be responsible means to be answerable. You are the only one who can answer to yourself. Do not expect from anybody in the world that can help you or that can help your children. Schools, universities, the others can never help you. Not even the banks can help you. You have to integrate yourself. You have to try to eliminate all kind of sufferings from within, and understand that the world is just mirroring all your conquests. You have to conquer something within yourself. You shouldn't worry about nobody else but yourself. And you will see that the others will follow. We are not very sincere and honest with ourselves. And this is why we are afraid that people can get into some disgrace, some problems, accidents, disease, and all those things. But this is just to justify your weaknesses. You have to watch on and observe and be aware of your weaknesses, inner weaknesses. And you will see that the world will be safe. Don't worry about the others. Worry only about yourself. And you will see that you will be of great help and protection for the entire world. Do not justify your weaknesses, your fragility within. This really creates disasters. If you have read the School for Gods, you will see that the main character, the protagonist, is full of problems, and the entire world around him is dying just because he was dead inside. He didn't have friends. He had many accidents in his world, and his wife died, and children were disobeying and very aggressive and lost in the crowd. Then he had to turn towards himself and stay there and understand that all comes from within. And then the disasters that he was witnessing outside himself were just reflecting, his own self-sabotage and violence that he carried within himself. And it takes probably a long time to understand that you only can liberate your children, your environment, the entire world from any invasion, disease, poverty, and death. Don't worry about the others. Your children will grow beautifully if you pay attention to yourself. Thank you.
Κύριε Έλιο, σήμερα ήρθα αντιμέτωπη, είδα τον θάνατο, το σωματικό θάνατο ενός πολύ αγαπημένου προσώπου, θεωρώντας ότι ο θάνατος είναι η μη ύπαρξη, αν εννοείται το θάνατο ως μη ύπαρξη του σώματος και της ψυχής. Το ότι κάτι δεν υπάρχει πια. Έτσι δεν είναι? Καταλαβαίνω ότι αυτό που λέτε, ότι δεν υπάρχει ο θάνατος, αυτό που είδα ήταν το τέλος ενός σώματος, που για κάποιους λόγους σταμάτησε να υπάρχει. Αυτό που μου λέτε, και το βλέπω εγώ σαν πολύ μεγάλη παρηγοριά αυτή τη στιγμή, γιατί αυτό το πρόσωπο ήταν πολύ αγαπημένο, είναι ότι εφόσον εγώ επιλέγω από μέσα μου να μην θεωρώ ότι πέθανε η ψυχή του, αλλά υπάρχει κάπου αλλού, άρα ο θάνατος δεν υπάρχει. Και εφόσον υπήρχαν πάρα πολλά άτομα εκεί γύρω που πήραν μέρος στην τελετή και ενώσαμε όλοι μαζί τη λύπη μας και τον πόνο μας για το ότι δεν θα ξαναδούμε αυτό το πρόσωπο, σημαίνει ότι αυτό το πρόσωπο συνεχίζει να υπάρχει στα πρόσωπα, στο μυαλό και στην καρδιά όλων αυτών των ανθρώπων. Άρα δεν υπάρχει θάνατος. Γιατί επιλέξαμε εμείς να πούμε ότι δεν πέθανε, συνεχίζει να υπάρχει μέσα στο μυαλό και την καρδιά μας. Απλά δεν θα τον βλέπουμε πια. Το κατάλαβα σωστά? Αυτό ήθελα να σας ρωτήσω, αν αντιλαμβάνομαι δηλαδή ότι είναι η επιλογή μας. Και κάτι άλλο, δεν θέλω να ανησυχώ για αυτό το πρόσωπο, γιατί δεν μπορώ να ελέγξω που πήγε η ψυχή. Δεν έχω τη δύναμη να ξέρω που πήγε η ψυχή αυτού του ανθρώπου. Δεν πέθανε όμως. Θα ήθελα όμως και ένα κομμάτι του μυαλού μου ρωτάει τι έγινε όμως αυτή η ψυχή. Δεν τη βλέπω, δεν την αντιλαμβάνομαι πια, όπως δεν υπάρχει ο χρόνος, γιατί είπατε πριν ο χρόνος δίνει αυτό που δεν βλέπουμε. Τι γίνεται? Αυτό ήθελα να ρωτήσω. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.
Death is not an objective reality. You can see death with only mortal eyes. We were taught that we were born and one day we are going to die. But that is just a description. I know that I cannot, it would be impossible to convey to you such a understanding. But we were all trained to die every day within ourselves. And then death outside ourselves has become a reflection, in a mirror. The world has become reflecting these inner deaths. And then you are not watching the death of a dear friend or a dear person. You are watching the description of death, which is within yourself. Then you are identifying with the description of something, the description of the world, but not with the world itself. You are, you know, it was described, you have a description of death, and you cannot run away, you cannot escape from that description. You see death, but through a description. That is not death. No one is going to die. No one. Only you yourself within your heart. Then if you have read The School for Gods, when the protagonist is in front of his wife, dead, you know, the dreamer tells him, look, this is not the death of a woman. This is your inner death that you have projected for so long. And now you are in front of something that is something that you were not aware of within yourself. But it happens in every instant in our lives. Every time you fear, you are afraid, every time you worry and you doubt, you are in anxiety or you are preoccupied, you are dying. A little part of yourself is dying. And then death, the physical death, not just yours, but the physical death, also witnessing the others, is just something that you are seeing with your mortal eyes, with your eyes that can have been taught to see a description of death. Now, you have to turn towards yourself and die less, as I was telling to Moses. You have to die lesser and lesser every day to arrive to the point that you will never witness any death anymore. It's impossible. But you have to be deathless to eliminate death from the outer world. Now, I know that it seems impossible to do something like this. But, you know, if you continue to believe that death exists, and it is something that sooner or later has to touch each of us, then this description will kill you. It's the idea that death is inevitable that kills you. The description that the death is inevitable, ineluctable, that kills you. Not the death itself, because the death does not exist. Probably you can get it intellectually right now, but the work on yourself, if you have read my books and Technology of the Dreamer, you will see that there is the dialogue between you, the reader, and the dreamer. And the dreamer tells you that only a dead person can die, dead within. If a person is alive within, cannot die. And this is something that will happen probably with a more mature humanity. But, you know, I dedicated my books to the individual. And I think that only the individual can overcome death, can win death. Then if you are an individual, it means indivisible. It means that you do not have fragmented particles within yourself, but you have become an integrity, a unity. You will see that death will disappear from within and from without. Thank you. Thank you for your question. It was very, very nice question.
Και εγώ σας ευχαριστώ
You see,
πολύ.
all of us finds himself, herself in front of some dear one that has to die. And I tell you, this didn't happen to me since ever. This is just to tell you that you have to change your attitude, inner attitude, your inner states, and stop to identifying with all that which is limited, all that which is conflictual. And you have to return to your integrity, which is something that belongs to you. It is not something that you have to achieve. It is something that you have to remember, because it belongs to you. It is an innate reality. Thank you. It takes time, but you will succeed, as I did.
Θα ήθελα κι εγώ μετάφραση. Hello. Γεια σου, Έλιο. Θα ήθελα να σε ρωτήσω κι εγώ κάτι. Αν κατάλαβα καλά για το θάνατο που μιλάς, φαντάζομαι ότι οπωσδήποτε είναι αναγκαίος ο θάνατος στη ζωή, γιατί άμα δεν πεθάνει κάτι δεν μπορεί να γεννηθεί κάτι καινούριο. Αυτό προάγει τη ζωή. Αλλά νομίζω ότι για το θάνατο που μιλάς εσύ πρέπει να είναι ο θάνατος της προσωπικότητας. Και θέλεις να μας πεις ότι είμαστε κάτι μεγαλύτερο από αυτή την προσωπικότητα που έχουμε, κάτι πολύ βαθύ και πολύ μεγάλο, το οποίο δεν θέλουμε ή δεν μπορούμε αυτή τη στιγμή να το δούμε. Και εκεί δεν υπάρχει θάνατος. Αυτό δεν είναι?
Let's see what you mean by death. Because from my point of view, death does not exist. Tell me what for you is the meaning of death, okay? Because if I tell you that does not exist, it seems paradoxical, and you know, this is just a fantasy, imagination. But this is my understanding, that death, you realize that it does not exist just because you stopped dying within yourself.
Μιλάς για τον ψυχολογικό θάνατο?
No. I am not speaking about death. Death does not exist. If we want to believe that death exists. It is just within yourself, in a sense that all your fears and doubts and worries, they are little deaths. But fear, doubts, and worries, and anxieties, and negative emotions, and destructive thoughts are non-existent. We identify with something non-existent and create something that it is going to materialize in the world as a death, as something that we call death. But fear is non-existent. Doubts are not existent. I believe that that is natural. To be afraid of something, it's natural. And I tell you, it is not. Fear is non-existent. Doubt is not existent. We identified with the world outside ourselves, and we believe that that is the truth. It is not. Now you have to turn towards yourself and see that fearlessness is the elimination of fear. And timeless, time, it means that you project from within the world that you see and witness outside yourself, but it is a projection from within. Now, if you are fearless, the world will never die anymore. And you will see that also science and technology will arrive to that in few decades. We are all children of time. We are all children of time. Time is our boss. Time regulates, manipulates whatever we are and do and have. Now, if you are able to use time and not be used by time, you will see that time will be a great friend and it will materialize only absence of fear, absence of worry, absence of doubt, absence of death. It's a new humanity. It's a new age, a new era, a new epoch. And this can happen only if the individual eliminate all forms of death happening within himself, herself. And this is, there is no technique, there is no discipline. We pray, we meditate, we do yoga, we do all the disciplines. There are this is good. It's for your entertainment. But to win death, you have to realize that death is non-existent, and you do it little by little, when you will die lesser and lesser within yourself. Thank you very much. We are so in love, so much in love with the limits that we see death as a way out from all our suffering. Then we will never give up death, because it is the solution. We believe that it is the solution, but it is not. Thank you. I see a gentleman.
Hello, Elio. Good evening to you
Ciao.
all. And thank you. Appreciate your inspiring talks and enlightenment in this, right? I'm trying to comprehend also myself, right, what you're saying about deathlessness, right, and fearlessness. So I understand it more and more, the way you talk and how you mean it. And I agree totally with you in terms of the human perspective. And since we are trained, we've been trained and we've been educated since we were babies, right? To have fears, to have concerns, to have anxieties and all this because of our family, because of our social environment, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. So we are trained. So it's very difficult to get this out of our system, let's say, right? This fear and this concern and this anxiety is almost impossible. Maybe we need hypnotherapies or whatever. I don't know. Okay.
We don't
okay.
need anything.
Exactly. Okay. So it's very hard. It's very hard, but it's doable, right? It's doable. However, I want to challenge you on the fact of the natural observations. For example, a plant is flourishing, is growing, and at some point it's drying out and its life is interrupted. So let's forget about death, the word as death, right? The life, this growing, this flourishing is interrupted.
That is time.
For the plant, exactly, because time came, right? Maybe if I understand well. The same thing happens with animals. Animals, they are not trained from a social environment. They're not trained from a father or mother maybe to have fear or to have anxiety. They have fear maybe to protect their little ones. They have fear maybe when they see a bigger enemy or a bigger, animal or whatever, right? An opponent, an enemy. Maybe they understand that they need to protect themselves and their families, right? Why? Because they can get hurt, right? And then again, at some point, also their life is interrupted. Their life, as we understand it, as humans understand it, right? Their life is interrupted. So how do you combine these? How do you combine the natural way of, let's say, life or cycle of life, right, with the deathlessness and the deathlessness basically for humans? I understand the spiritual part very, very well.
Yeah.
But the human mortality, I'm a little bit still vague on that.
Yeah, this is difficult to understand. Again, we die because we lie. Identifying with description of life, identifying with description of the world. We are lying, and we do not stop lying. When one day you stop lying, you will stop dying. Now we are all victims of a lie. We are all liars. But one day you will stop lying and you will die, will be no more. Just because death is a materialization of our lying. If you stop lying, you will stop dying. This is important to understand. But lying has become our life. We really believe to be living in truth, but it is not. We are lying to ourselves, and we continue to lie ourselves. And then we create a world that is a product and a byproduct of our lies. And death is a lie. This is from my point of view, for what I understand. Fear is a lie. And to be concerned about your children and about the world outside yourself, or your need of helping the others, is a lie. Then if we stop lying, you will see that death will disappear. I don't know if I answer your question, but
no, I'm working on it.
No.
I'm
then
working
to
on
see
it.
trees and animals, to have this cycle, and this is a beautiful entertainment. But it is an entertainment. It's a show that you yourself have created. You are the creator. You are the dreamer. You are the doer. and nobody else. But what about my wife and my children? Nobody else. You yourself are the creator. You come from a country where the gods, where you know, it's were so familiar in your culture and your civilization. Then you know, gods are our inner states, and you see that the gods, the Greek gods, they were very, very weak, very fragile, and full of desires and fears. You know, I mean, they called the gods, but they were not gods.
Yes,
they were just
humans created them anyway. That's why.
Human created.
So they had all the the weaknesses
the same
of
thing.
humans.
Yeah. This is this is a lie. This is a lie. You need something outside yourself to believe.
Sure.
But belief is a lie. And how can we live without beliefs, without fears, without identification? We have to act as actors and actresses. Mm. And if you act your role as the others want you to play, you are impeccable. And you will see that you grow within yourself, and you will understand what deathless means. And the outer world will be all gratitude to you, yourself.
Fair enough. I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Elio.
Oh.
Thank you for your speech and your contribution so far with your book and everything. I have a question also. So let's say that this death and fear and time is a lie that we live. And the truth is that we are deathless and that there is no death. The question is, who and why and when and where created this lie? Thank you.
If I tell you where and when, and I can say right now, you are imagining your past. You are inventing your memory. And the memory, as I said before, is a lie and is a liar. The past is a lie. You are building the entire past in this very moment, in this very instant. Your question in this very instant is inventing all the past that you can imagine. Then it's difficult to understand, but the instant is infinite. The instant contains time and not vice versa. Then we believe that the memory or history or the imagination or the destiny is time and it is real, but it is not. We are living in imagining time, imagining our past and our future. Then if you stop believing in time, then you will eliminate your great boss, your master, the one who does everything for you, also all the disasters. And if you contain time, and that means that you turn toward yourself, every time you turn toward yourself, time disappears. Every time you turn towards the here now, the very instant, time disappears. And you enter into something that I call the timelessness. And timelessness is the right thing, because timelessness is you yourself, is the real you yourself. Then in time we are what I can say what we are not. And then we have we have to fight all our life to discover that we are producing only what we are not. What you really are cannot be achieved. What you really are, you can only be. You cannot become something that you already are. And in this very moment, you are, in your question, you are producing time, you are producing memory, past, future, destiny, and that is all fiction. This very moment, if you turn towards yourself, you will be in charge of your life and the others' lives. Grazie. Thank you. Lady?
Yes, hello, hi.
Hello.
So if I understand it well, so I'm the creator, the outer reality is just a reflection of my inner reality. So should I then understand that it's like kind of a sort of a matrix where the other people are not real? I even the Zoom meeting now, is it you, the Zoom meeting, the participants, is it projection of my inner state?
Yes, that's nice. Nice question. The others are just an extension of yourself. I can say the others are real because you make them real. The others are your own creation and nobody else's. You created the others to see and touch what is happening within yourself. The others are very useful for you to understand what is going on within yourself. When you are in charge of yourself, when you will be in charge of yourself, you will see that the others are just a beautiful part of a show that you yourself are the producer, the director, the artist, the scriptwriter, the audience, the characters, the actors and actresses. And you will enjoy so much the others. And because they will be real, but at the same time, you know that you are the only producer, creator, dreamer.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Elio, I'm taking advantage that we don't have any questions for the time being. And I would like to ask, so what is inner economy? And why is it the answer to all and everyone?
There is an inner economy and the outer, okay? We believe that there is an objective economy, which is, we are, with which we are identified. And there is an inner economy, which I discovered, that is dealing with all our emotions, sensations, ideas, thoughts, feelings. And this is something we should be aware of. Otherwise, the external economy will fail. You can say, but how can a subjective economy can control the external economy? And I will return to the principle that the outer and the inner are one and the same. Your inner vision and the outer reality are one and the same. When you see on TV, on news, wars and fighting and conflicts and the Wall Street that is going down, etc., etc., that is all propaganda. It is a show. It is a beautiful entertainment. If you understand this, you will see that the world outside yourself will reflect your detachment, your non-identification with what is apparently happening in the world. If you are not identified with news, which are all fake news, and with all wars, which are all propaganda, and with all epidemic crises and all those things, you will understand that is only something coming from within you, just for your own entertainment. Now you can say, but people are dying, and people are infected, and people are going to be killed in a war or conflicts. And I tell you, this is not happening at all. But you can say, Elio is mad saying these things. But I tell you, the moment that you stop dying, the world will stop dying. The moment that you stop suffering, the world will stop suffering. This is, the world and you yourself are one and the same. There is no gap. There is no distance between you and the world that you call objective reality. It is your subjectivity that creates an objective reality, and not vice versa. Someone could say, believe in yourself, and you will see that everything will happen. It is not a belief. It is not belief. Someone can say, if you believe, you will succeed. If you believe, you will win all the battles. No, it is not a belief. The battles, the victory, success are inner states. Success is an inner state. Victory is an inner state. If you succeed within yourself, dealing with all that happens within yourself, if you win within yourself, all the battles outside yourself will be won. And this is something that seems science fiction or whatever. It's madness or fantasy. But I tell you, when you stop dying, the world will be all gratitude to you. It takes time, probably. It takes time for the entire humanity to stop dying. But I am dedicated to the individual. And my school, the European School of Economics, they learn how to express inner economy, which is self-mastery, self-awareness. When you are aware of what is going on within yourself, you will understand what is happening in the world. Socrates, in your country, was saying, know yourself, and you will know the will of the gods. Do you understand? He wanted to say, he was telling us, be yourself, know yourself, and you will know what is going on. You will know what is happening in the world outside yourself. No, warriors and heroes were going to the Melfi and to know their destiny. But the oracle was looking at within the hero or the questioner. And he was telling him, you are in fear and you will lose that battle, that conflict. If the hero or the questioner was in absence of death, the oracle was just reflecting that fearlessness, that deathlessness. And it was telling him, you will win. Then, the principle is win it before it happens. Win your battle inside. And you will see that the battle outside yourself, whatever is conflict outside yourself, will be won or disappear at all. I thank you, Moses. You got such a beautiful name.
Thank you too, Elio.
See you the next time.
Elio.
Oh, there isn't someone else. Oh, tell me, please.
Σε αυτό που είπες για το μαντίο των Δελφών, έχεις δίκιο. Ο χρησμός ήταν, θα το πω στα αρχαία ελληνικά, ήξεις, αφήξεις, ούκεν το πολέμος νύχτης. Η διαφορά ήταν ότι πού θα έβαζες το κόμμα. Ήξεις, αφήξεις, κόμμα, ούκεν το πολέμος νύχτης. Θα πας, θα γυρίσεις, δεν θα πεθάνεις στον πόλεμο. Αν όμως αυτός που έπαιρνε το χρησμό έβαζε το κόμμα στο ήξεις, κόμμα, θα πας, μάλλον ήξεις, αφήξεις, ουκ, κόμμα, δεν θα γυρίσεις, ούκεν το πολέμος νύχτης, δεν θα πεθάνεις. Δηλαδή, θα πας, δεν θα γυρίσεις, κόμμα, στον πόλεμο θα πεθάνεις. Ήταν που έβαζαν το κόμμα. Αυτός δηλαδή που έπαιρνε το χρησμό, ανάλογα με το αν φοβόταν ή όχι, έβαζε και το κόμμα εκεί που ήθελε αυτός. Αυτό, ευχαριστώ.
That's right. He was watching that instant, the instant that the questioner was asking, what is going on, what will happen in my life or in that battle, on that undertaking. It's the oracle was telling him his inner state about her inner state. And then the oracle was, they needed someone telling her what was going on. But if you turn towards yourself, you don't need any oracle outside yourself. You don't need any master, any guru. You don't need any discipline, any system or methods outside yourself. You have just to be earnest, sincere within yourself, and you will know your destiny, if there is a destiny. You will know anything is going to happen to you. Then you met someone dying just because within yourself you were cultivating death. The day that you will annihilate, you will eliminate, delete death from within, it's impossible that you can see anyone or anything dying, not even a pet, not even an animal. You are witnessing death only if you indulge in death urge within yourself. This is if you, instead of identifying with the death urge, you identify with the life urge within yourself. That means absence of fear and death, you will see that death is something that was just created for your own, let's say, apparent way out. The Iliads and the Odyssey and the Bible and the Quran, they speak about immortality. They speak about the deathlessness. But you know, it's difficult to understand. And there were heroes who were eternal, and gods eternal. And also in the Bible, we have a few immortal people who conquered death. Conquer death. Conquering death means to win your inner death. Not outside. Outside there is no death. But we are a humanity who forgot. We are all gods who forgot themselves, and we fell in death. If you see in the Christianity, there are at the beginning, there are in the Eden, in the paradise, there are two trees. One is the tree of knowledge, the other one is the tree of life. And the Adam and Eve, they ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge. This means that knowledge coming from outside, also that one coming from schools and universities, I tell you, that's why I created the schools. It's second-hand knowledge, is obsolete knowledge. The true knowledge can come only from within, your own knowledge, which is that tree of life, which was in paradise, and it was protected by some angel. Then you see, to enter into the tree of life, to enter into something that is an absence of death, we have to work a lot, because we have been educated, taught, and trained to die, to lie and to die. Please, what's your name? Despina.
My name is Despina. Hello,
Despina.
Mr. Elio.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much for your speech and the enlightenment you offered to us.
Thank you.
Θα ήθελα να σας ρωτήσω, αναφερθήκατε στο θέμα της μοίρας. Η ερώτηση που θέτω είναι, πιστεύετε ότι υπάρχει μοίρα και ότι η ελεύθερη βούληση των ανθρώπων είναι στο πώς αντιδρούν σε αυτά που τους συμβαίνουν, ή ότι εμείς ορίζουμε τη ζωή μας και είναι αποτέλεσμα των επιλογών μας στη ζωή μας και υπάρχει το γεγονός της αιτίας αποτελέσματος?
Good. In a destiny's time, if you are governed by time, you will lose, and you will be controlled, by time. Then the destiny is a catastrophe, always a catastrophe, because if you die, it is a catastrophe. Then, as they say, we are all destined to die. Then we are all destined to a catastrophe, a calamity. I rebelled. I made a revolution. I turned towards myself and I eliminated time. If you eliminate time, you eliminate destiny and memory. The moment that you delete your memory, you are free. And when you are free, you are in a state of deathlessness. Today, many people go to the hospital, go to the doctors, believing that they are in a disease called Alzheimer. Okay, Alzheimer, it means that you don't remember anymore. You know, you probably don't remember anymore your dears, your people, your actions in the past, and the people, you know, take you to some house to fill you up with the medicine and surgery, without understanding that the people who get sick and get Alzheimer are people who are fed up, sick and fed up with the life, with the suffering of life. They want to come out of all that suffering. If people stop suffering, they can never get a disease anymore. They will never get Alzheimer or any other disease. This is all due to the fact that we are all manipulated by false description. We have to get free from descriptions, and you will see that the life will continue forever and ever. Destiny is destiny is time. Whatever is in time or governed, ruled by time is false. Then you have to get free of time, and you will see that you will never see any disease in your life. You will see no death in your life. I am the example. That's why I'm telling you this. I am the example. I don't know any doctor. I never seen any doctor in my life because I was free of time. I liberated myself from time. Time is a prison. Time is something that if you do not govern, you will feel yourself in a prison and controlled and manipulated. This is why, you know, get rid of memory and destiny. Get rid of history and imagination. Try to be in the here now. Try to be in absence of time towards yourself, and you will see that all and everything turns in the right way.
Thank you deeply, Mr. Elio.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I have one more question, Elio.
Come on.
So it's two questions. First one, how did you manage not to experience death? This is the first question. The second one is, I hear what you are saying, and they are very inspiring for me. But tomorrow, I will wake up in this world, and practically, what do I have to do differently? really practically. The phone will ring, the people will start asking me, everything will start running again. What should I do differently? This is my 2 questions. Thank you so much.
You have to do just what you were doing the day before. The same thing, but this time intentionally, consciously acting. We are all acting as actors and actresses, okay? Now we have to be conscious of the fact that you are acting, but this time you are acting consciously. And this is, you know, to be just an actor, because we are all acting a role in life, okay? But different from consciously acting that role perfectly, impeccably, the same role that you did the day before with your wife, with your children, with your colleagues and partners, and etc., etc. You have to act impeccably the same role, but this time consciously. And you will see, you know, no one of you wants to ask about money. I am a businessman. I have been a rock star. I have been very famous. I sold many records. I have been a producer of great artists. I have been in many businesses. I am a writer. I am a musician, and all those things. I am not showing some presumptuousness, but just to tell you that my life was full of success in whatever I was doing, just because I pay no attention at all to success outside myself, but just to the inner one. Inner success means to live without any negative emotions. And when attacks come, they are welcome. When attacks come from an external world, they are welcome from my point of view, because they create an incredible energy, an incredible explosion within yourself, if you know how to deal with it. Because the moment that you get hurt within yourself, you have to intervene. And when you observe your pain within yourself, you transform it in such an energy that the outer world will receive this transformation and will return with all solutions, healings, and answers. Then tomorrow morning, you have to act as you were acting today, okay? But this time, you have to be in charge. You have to be conscious, aware of what is going on within yourself. I mean, if you are in the hell within yourself, you feel really sorrow and pain very strongly within yourself. Be there. Stay with your pain. Don't move. Don't do anything until it dissolves. And you will see that you will find solutions in the outer world that are unimaginable. All depends upon you. All is up to you and nobody else. Okay, there is a beautiful lady. Eileen. Eileen.
Ciao, Elio.
Are you the Eileen I know?
Yes, that's me.
Oh, you are so beautiful.
Okay.
That's nice. You are speaking from Turkey, are you?
Yes, yes, I'm still in Turkey.
Oh, that's nice. Eileen, it's so nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Great.
Okay, my question is Elio, about sex.
Yes.
it is a little bit personal, but I think everybody has their
Everybody's got the same problem.
What is the thing with sex? Because I mean, we all learn from the very beginning how to relate with the opposite sex, and the sexual relationship. That's what we learn. But lately, I used to find it very pleasing. I loved it. I like it. But lately, I really find it a very primitive way of relating with the opposite sex.
Mhm.
Is there a way, or is there a level where we can reach with the, not with the opposite sex, but with all everybody around us, to have a more advanced way of relating with each other, and at the same time feeling the same pleasure, the same energy? Is there a way to create the same energy, but with a more
Without sex.
advanced, without sex? Yes. I find it disgusting lately. I don't know why, but the way it happens, it's physically the way it happens. I find it disgusting.
Why do you say so?
And I think there should be a way that people could relate to each other and have pleasure in a more advanced way. I don't know what is advanced, but
Eileen, you see, when you say I feel disgusting sex, that is a way to hurt yourself. You are hurting yourself, you know, because disgusting, or let's say feeling not so enthusiastic about sex is a sort of self-sabotage. And I don't think that no one is creating this. I don't think, not even your partner is creating this state of being that you call disgusting. You know, it's this negative attitude comes from you, from within, not from outside. If you pay attention, when this moment comes, and you pay attention to this inner state, you will see that you can transform it in something great, something that will give you much more than sex itself. But you shouldn't remain in this condition within yourself. You have to deal with it. You cannot leave it as it is. You have to deal with it. It means that you have to be very close to this inner state until you feel that it's like to bombard an atom, you know. You have to pierce this inner state. You have to be very close, and you will see that the closer you are to this disgusting condition, you will see that the greater will be your energy. And you will see that this can also substitute sex. But this doesn't mean that sex is something disgusting or has become something disgusting. Sex is something that you have to use it for giving you more life within yourself. Then sex is a good tool. Sorry, I was going into Italian. It's a good tool, a good instrument, a good device to transform your energy, your negative energy within yourself.
So it's not like, I don't want to say primitive, but I can't find a word for that to express how I feel about it.
Yes, probably we should discuss with your partner if you have one. I mean, why do you see primitive? I mean, you know, the gods in the Greek culture, the gods were making love with humans, women, just because they were attracted by the women humans, and it's I mean, it's something that you shouldn't avoid, or to see it primitive. If you see it primitive, that is got you know, it's you feel it as something that you were doing before, and you don't feel the same attraction today. It's because something else is attracting you. Something else could be, you know, art, could be painting, it could be. I know that you are very good in writing, and I mean, you, for what I know about you, yeah, I think that you entered into the business, and I think it's a sort of driving taxis or something like this, and probably your job is not so inspiring, and then it's everything. If sex is becoming non-attractive and is lowering its attraction, I think that everything around you is losing this vitality and attraction. It cannot be one thing and the other things are enthusiastic. That means the inner attitude. It's an inner condition that lets you see things less attractive or primitive, as you say. You have to work within yourself. Eileen, you have to work within yourself to get closer and closer to yourself. And when the moments so difficult come, that is a great, great opportunity. Don't see sex as a primitive thing. Sex can give you strength and power. Don't you know, you have to have the right partner. This this is my suggestion. You know, because you know, it's I had many women asking about sex, and men avoid to talk about. And you know, that one day when we get you know, close, I will tell you, you know, men do not like to talk about sex and about you know, a non-attraction. But the women, you know, they want to know much more about sex, just because you know, it's in a relation with the man. This is my point of view. It's very much man who is missing something. It's a man that is not able to blend rightly with the woman. But this is something that, you know, we enter into a sort of psychology, and the problems of couples. And this is, from my point of view, you have to lift and raise your inner being, your inner conditions, to circumscribe them if they are negative, or if you feel not so much vital within yourself. You have to be there and work on your inner negative emotions. That is very, very, very important, because negative emotions control the entire humanity. Destructive thoughts control the entire humanity. I mean, the work that you chose, I don't know if you are still doing this. No. Then you should be an artist. I don't know. I remember you. I remember your beautiful parents, and you should be an artist. And you should not be a taxi driver. This is, but what is happening right now? What is your job?
I live in another city, in a little town by the Aegean coast, where our summer house is.
Good.
I started living there. I do write regularly in a magazine, and I do also do some work for my brother online, and we have a little how to say, a society here with friends that we do some work together.
This is much better than before. I think so. It's much better than before. Yeah. But you know, it's just if you read a little bit more the technology of the dreamer, I must say to the people who are in the audience right now, Eileen is the translator of the technology of the dreamer, and in Turkish, and in Turkey it has been very, very, very famous, and it is a bestseller. And thanks to Eileen, that she did an incredible translation. And I think this is what you should do. Probably, if you get closer to what I've been writing for many years, you will see that your life will be shining. Let's be in touch, Eileen. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye. Hello.
Hello, Elio.
I know you.
Where do you know me?
Did I meet you? Did I meet you?
Probably, maybe in another lifetime. Yeah. So I'm very happy to speak to you. I came across to you through a very good friend of mine who told me that you have written the book of all books, the School of Gods. So I would like to state that I started the book, and I stopped in the middle because I was afraid. Yeah, as a man that has died, from my point of view, I probably have died for many times. I mean, like, I remember the first question you gave in your previous speech a couple of days ago, and you asked how many times did you die today? So I know that I have died a lot of times, but I would like to give a personal statement that through dying, I have learned to conquer fear. So I would like your opinion if fear is like a state that, like a sign that we have to move towards it, and face, because in my own experience, every dying that comes from now on built, let's say, not harder than previous. I mean, and this has given me progress. I mean, I've learned to progress through dying.
Good.
So I would like to ask you if you have faced the same states in your success. This is my first question. I have a lot of questions, but this is my first question, yeah. And also, I would like to ask you this. If we conquer our inner state, we are closer to what we call God in our own minds. Where do you put the limits? Because I believe that if a person is fearless, limitless, timeless, this could be also dangerous for all humanity. I mean, if it is not used in a proper way. So in my own state of mind, because we are people that have created this reality, it is dangerous to have this power. It must be in good hands. I mean, because
you still believe that there are the others who can conquer immortality or deathlessness, but just don't worry about the others. The others, are all on your payroll. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
The world, the entire world is on your payroll. You are the one who is distributing life or death to the others. And the others are just reflecting what you are. Now, if the others will arrive to the point to have such a power, it means that you gave them this power. And if you are in charge, I mean, there is nothing that can be outside of your administration, let's say, okay, inner administration. Then the others are just reflecting what you are within yourself, and sometimes what you are not. Then you don't worry about the power that the humanity can receive if they achieve this absence of death and absence of fear. Don't worry about it. Worry about it. Be concerned about you yourself, and you will see that you have to conquer something within yourself, which is fear, steal, fear, lying, death, and many negative emotions. And this is our job, nothing else. This is your job. I don't think that humanity itself can do without you yourself. Humanity is non-existent without you. Humanity depends upon you yourself, and this is not trying to let's say, tickle your egocentrism or your vanity. It is just to tell you, when you reach that maturity, that you are in charge of your fears and death within yourself, you will see that the entire humanity will achieve that power.
Thank you. I would like for you to answer me the first question, which was, did you face the same stages? I mean, like dying first and then get to success. did you reach this inner state before you realize what you are saying to us now?
If I did realize this, but if I tell you yes, I mean, it seems childish. If I say no, it says, but you are telling us something that you didn't conquer or didn't realize. You know, it's think about yourself. You have to remember, not to achieve. You have to remember this state of integrity, unity within yourself. And you can do it only if you get closer and closer to your fears and doubts within yourself. Tackle them, face them whenever they come, because they are a great opportunity for you to grow, to develop, and you cannot do without them. You have to get closer to your fears to understand that the fear is non-existent. I created a school of business to allow my students to understand that they do not know any education. Then I created a school of business to tell them that the only business is towards yourself. The business is an inner business where you have to be in charge and dealing with your emotions and with all your apparent invisibility. But that is very visible. One day you will see that your emotions, your thoughts and ideas are creating the world as it is. Then your improvement, your growth will improve the entire world. This is my experience, and I'm trying to convey it to you through my books. But it is, I know that it is a very, seems paradoxical, sounds paradoxical, but you will see that little by little, if you die less, you will improve your success, your fame, and money, lots of money. Money can come only if you die less. As I said, amors, financial power and amore and love are one and the same. If you die less, you will be richer and greater in life.
Thank you. I believe I'm ready to read the rest of the book.
Please do it.
Yes.
You will realize that book, you yourself wrote it.
Thank you.
It's all that you conquered within yourself. The book is just reflecting what you would have written, if you just allow yourself to write a book, you will see that you would have written the same book as I have been writing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for everything.
Yes, there is again.
Hi, Elio. I have one last question.
Yes,
thank you very much for your time and your sharing.
I'm enjoying very much.
We are very much also. So I'm going back to the Moses question that you said that, we have to act, but do it consciously to become an actor. And my question is this. So I think you're talking, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, you're talking about becoming some sort of the observer, as they put it. So if I understand correctly, from the one side, we have the observer. From the other side, we have this, I call them consciousness magnets, like sex, like anger, like what is happening in life, that act as a magnet towards our consciousness and draws our attention and our inner being to the experience. When we do that, we get the experience within. When we are the observer, we don't so much get the experience. So if we are an actor, does it mean that we are the observer without getting so much of the experience? Or do we have to be somewhat like God, like everyone and nowhere, like both within the experience and the actor and the observer? Thank you.
You have to be both. You have to be both at the same time. You have to observe what is going on within yourself and never have to express it. You have to act outside yourself what the world wants you to play, not what your negative emotions or inner states and conditions are dictating you. You shouldn't be in their power because they do not have any power at all, but you gave them power, your inner states, your negative emotions, your destructive thoughts. You have at the same time watching them, being within, and at the same time acting outside yourself, the role that the others want you to play. And you have to act it consciously. Consciously means that you are not identified. Consciously means that you watching, you are observing within, you pay attention within yourself, and you pay attention outside yourself to act the right role for the people, the relationship that you are going to have that very instant. Is it understandable?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, it's in the first moments it will be difficult. For a few days it will be difficult, but if you practice it, you will see that it is a beautiful game. It's a very beautiful game because never express your negative emotions, and that is a willpower. You have to have a will to be able not to identify with the negativeness, with the negative emotions, and at the same time to be free to act a role that probably it's you have to act to be a secretary, to be the last one in a room with the other people, but acting consciously. Acting consciously, it means that you are in charge. Also, if apparently you are the last person in the room with the last role in the, if you are acting consciously that role, you are governing the others. That's why I created a school for leaders. They have to act outside themselves, and at the same time, they have to be much aware of what is going on within. Doesn't matter if there is hell within yourself. Doesn't matter. You have to be there, observing. The observer that doesn't, to be the observer, doesn't identify with the observed. The observed is something that could be an alien, but you should never identify with it. You have to observe it. As a scientist is observing her own experiment. Thank you for your question. Very, very intelligent. I like it. Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
Yes.
Sorry, maybe just a last question.
Please.
Because I really want to implement this, and I'm trying already to self-observe, be there with a feeling. When I do that, I realize that whatever it is, no matter how bad it is, it kind of disappears. It's actually the thought creating it, and not so the feeling itself actually is gone very fast. And then I enter in kind of a neutral state. And I don't know, are we supposed to stay in this neutral state or rather replace it with something positive?
No positive. Positive emotion means elimination of negative states. Don't try to enter into paradise or celestial states, because that is something that only cults, religions, and many other discipline, let's call disciplines, you know, tried to teach us. But just being without negative emotions is a success. That is success, because we live in negative states all the time long, every day, every hour, every second. We are always in a, we can laugh to something, we can have a good moment, we can have sex, we can have a, but that is not absence of negative states, negative emotions. The absence of negative emotions happens only in absence of time, in absence of fear, in absence of death. Then you have to work on that and see that there is some pain within yourself, or it is hiding in the innermost recesses of your being. You just be there until it fades away, and you will see that things coming. If you are able to witness what is coming from outside, it will be incredible. If you really are able to be there, face your negative emotions until it fades away, you will see that from outside it comes soon something that will tell you you have been successful. But we take everything for granted. I don't know if you understand what I mean. We take everything for granted. Then we don't pay attention to that very thing that in time, in a few minutes, corresponds to that conquest within yourself, that victory within yourself. We take it for granted, but it was your own powerful witnessing that negative states that created that solution, that answer, that victory. And you see, we are gods and goddesses. If we understand that, you know, we are free as beings. We are gods, but we forgot. We are gods who forgot their, how can you say, amnesia. That's right. This is in total amnesia. And this is what happened to all human beings. Now you have to remember. Remember means you have to turn towards yourself, remembering yourself, to put the members together until you become an integrity, a unity, which is your very nature. And when you are a unity, you will see that the world is a heaven on earth.
Thank you. And sorry, maybe a follow-up. How do you remain, because it's difficult to remain for a long time in this neutral, no state even, like it's as if, I don't know, it's as if there is silence, or I can't describe it exactly, but then how do you stay present? Is it fine to focus on the surroundings, on sounds, or on physical sensations?
No. This is all unnecessary. You have to understand that that neutral, you call it neutral sensation or state, will be continuing while you are acting outside yourself. You will see that it will be continuous. It will be permanent one day. You just don't worry if you forget for sometimes. You just return and return and return. You will see that it will become permanent, continuous, and permanent. And then there is no discipline. There is no. If you want to do it, yoga. How they call gong therapy, sound therapy, and all the medicine, but it's for your enjoyment. But it is not something. It is not a system that can make you more conscious, more attentive. It is not. Only you yourself, and you will see that while you are remembering, all the times you remember, your will, which is an organ that we forgot completely, the will come on the surface, and when will comes, you are, in the best condition that a man, a woman can be. This is what I, let's say, hoped. It's not hoped, but this is why I wrote 2 books, just to convey to you that fear, death, disease, and poverty, and all those things are non-existent. You can tell me, look, I have seen the TV news, and all those things exist. And I tell you, from my point of view, of course, that is something that you yourself invented just to justify your inner weaknesses. Did you get it in English? Yeah, you got a very good English.
Thank you so much. That's very useful. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, thank you so much for this amazing time together over here. I would like to have a question on what about voicing ourselves in a polarized world. Some things are getting pretty complicated. It seems pretty foggy on the way we communicate one another and on how we can state our opinion in this world of huge polarization. I just wanted your opinion on the ways that we can still raise our voice, and we can still, I don't know, I mean, it's pretty difficult to find the ways to communicate the messages. It's getting a little bit not so clear.
Sorry, I didn't get it very clear. Which is the question? I mean, you are talking about the relationships with other people.
I'm talking about the way we communicate with the world. In the past years, it seems like it was less complicated. Now it seems to become a little bit more complicated. What a person should do in those times in order to avoid polarization, like vaccination, non-vaccination, like all of this balance that we have to have.
Yeah, you are talking about something that happens outside yourself. Okay, I dedicated all my life to the inner world, and I was successful. This created good relationships with the people, created good businesses. I was traveling while the world was in fear and sort of constrictions and really in a very painful situation and atmosphere. I was traveling and I was touching countries, Greece, Portugal, Turkey, and United States, and nothing touched me. And I can see you that you are masked in this moment. You are just masked, and you are in your home with yourself. No, you are what?
Outside.
At work?
Yeah.
Outside. And then where is your country? Greece? Where
Greece,
are you from?
Yeah, Greece.
And they still are asking you to use mask also in the open?
Yes.
Yes. What can I tell you? It's our fears that created the situation that we encounter outside ourselves. There is no threat, menace coming from outside. But you cannot agree with me because you say, look, we are under fire, and this is not for you, but for me. If I come out of my home and I have to go to work, everything is happening in a way that I have to use masks, be capped, and all those things. We have to see that all our life has been like this, but we were not aware of. We have been, I think, capped and masked for a long time. And this is just the reflection of what happened within ourselves. I don't want to touch something that could be susceptible for your understanding, but just to tell you that we did many things, let's say negative things, within and without and outside, to arrive to the point that I have to mask, I have to follow some restriction coming from the government thing. We did a lot because we can happen in such a disaster, okay? And I cannot blame the government, the states, the external world. The only responsibility more than fault, it's always yours, within yourself. Then this is difficult to accept. It's difficult to accept. I tell you, I am in a country where things are very difficult, but they didn't touch me. Nothing touched me. You know, I can do everything I want just because you have to become invisible to the visible world, where things happen at a very low level of understanding. You have to raise your level of inner responsibility within yourself. And you will see that you will be invisible to the all disasters, wars, conflicts, and whatever is going to happen apparently in the outer world. Work on yourself, and you know, and you will see that things will happen differently. I can see you that you are very strong, very strong person. It's, I mean, no virus could affect you.
Yeah, the only virus is the social virus.
That's right. I mean,
and this is what I'm like, taking it into the inner side and talking about inner self. It's all this thing on how the person needs to adjust its time in a new way of expressing himself in a constant changing world, with new habits, with new points of touch, with different communication, in order to always be current and always be subtle, always work, as you said, in an invisible way.
That's
not
right.
to be pointy, not to be touchy, not to, so this is my main question, like it goes down to there.
And this depends upon you yourself.
What's the gym?
Nobody else.
Gym.
Nobody else. No, we are invisible beings. We are invisible beings. We are thoughts, we are emotions, feelings, ideas, but we become visible to all the accidents just because we forget of being invisible beings. Then if we remember to be invisible, to be something that is an abstraction, but very powerful, because this abstraction becomes shapes and becomes materialization outside ourselves, then we have to pay attention to this abstraction. And you will see that the world outside yourself, the visible world, will be very, very, very grateful to you.
Thank you, Mr. Elio. Epicurus was saying, "Laθε viosas." That means live an invisible life.
Very good, because we are invisible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Moses.
Elio, it seems we don't have any further questions. However, I would like to express my my gratitude. It was one of the best workshops I've attended, and we have this opportunity to be here, like you know, a small group of people, of friends.
Yeah.
And I look forward for next year to be here physically in Greece, in the Leading Minds too.
If you come to Italy, please come to my home.
I will come definitely.
And if you meet Alexandra, the Optra edition, you know, they are doing very well for me, for my books. And please, you are my guest.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your presence.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Moses. Do you have somebody else?
I think there are no further questions. So I don't know if you would like to make a closure or whatever you wish.
You know, I enjoyed very much your questions, and I know that you know, it's not easy. It's not easy to convey these ideas to each of you. You know, because I really live a life concentrated, a life in stillness and solitude, but just then it is for me much easier to tell you these things. And for people that has to work every day and has to meet and have relationships, probably it is difficult. But I gave you a very important technology that is the technology of the dreamer, which is the turning any relationship, any contact, any sometimes attack coming from outside in something that is that tends for your own profit and privilege. No, it's if you really understand that the outer world is there just to let you see what is going on in your inner being, you will be very thankful to the God, to the world outside yourself, and because the only work to do is just to transform whatever comes from outside, and this is very, very important for your inner understanding. It's impossible that I convey what is my understanding of life, but I think that with a few words we were able to just catch some I can call some understanding or some way to turn our life in something that is profitable, it is happy, it is more joyful. I really enjoyed very much your company. I really enjoyed very much your company, and it's for me, you know, I'd like to have all of you very close. And but if you read my books, you will see that while you're reading, I will be there beside you. I thank you very much. No, I really enjoyed it.